The Budapest Memorandum was a bust. Now Ukraine is seeking real and robust security guarantees from the US and their European allies. 10 weeks to make a lifetime of difference. We head to the field to see how Ukrainian soldiers are receiving leadership training from the UK-led Operation Interflex.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Weapons and Warfare. For Straight Arrow News, I'm your host, Ryan Robertson, and for the first time ever, we are coming to you from within the borders of a country at war. All this week, we are on the ground and reporting from Ukraine's 7th largest city, Lviv. It's home to almost 1 million people. The city serves as a major hub for displaced persons and volunteers dealing with the human impact of the war. Our goal is to put a face on the countless headlines that grab the world's attention since Russia's illegal invasion more than 3 years ago. An invasion that was never supposed to happen. In 1994, the leaders of the United States, the UK, Ukraine, and Russia all signed the Budapest Memorandum. The goal of that agreement was to provide security assurances to Ukraine in exchange for the country joining the Non-Proliferation Treaty and giving its old Soviet-era nuclear weapons back to Russia. The failure of that agreement and what happens next is the subject of this week's debrief.
I think this is something that even Western analysts often miss about Ukraine, is that we have this experience in the past. And this is why we're so sensitive to words, wordings, language used in the documents.
31 years ago, with the world watching, Presidents Bill Clinton, Boris Yeltsin, Prime Minister John Major, and Ukrainian President Leonid Kuchma signed the Budapest Memorandum. The failure of that agreement has been on display since Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014 and its large-scale invasion in February of 2022.
Its name, the Budapest Memorandum, has become synonymous to a failed document or a failed security guarantee. And if you look closely at the text that you filmed today, you will see that even the word guarantees is not there. There are security assurances.
Ukrainian Foreign Ministry spokesman Hyori Tahi says now the memorandum is being used as a cautionary example to ensure Ukraine does not repeat past mistakes. Under the agreement, Ukraine relinquished the nuclear arsenal it inherited from the Soviet Union in exchange for security assurances from Russia, the United States, and the United Kingdom. The leaders of those respective countries pledged to respect Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and borders, commitments Russia clearly violated.
Ukraine, unfortunately, has this very bitter experience, very bitter past when it comes to security guarantees and negotiations on that and documents proving them.
Tahi adds Kyiv is now extremely cautious about the language used in any future agreements.
That is why today Ukraine's line is very clear, and President Zelensky was reiterating it in Washington, D.C., that Ukraine needs real security guarantees, which are robust, which are really effective, which are working, which are not assurances, they are real security guarantees. And obviously we don't need Budapest number 2.
Tahi also emphasizes that the nature of cooperation fundamentally shifted. Ukraine is no longer merely seeking security guarantees. It is actively contributing to European security.
This is a two-way street. So Ukraine is providing a lot of security to Europe. We're holding back, NATO's primary adversary, aggressive Russia. Ukraine is currently holding it back, the Ukrainian army. And we are very, I would say, realistic today. I think there is much more realism today in Ukraine than there was in the 1990s. And we clearly understand that our own army is our main security guarantee.
So, 3 decades on, Ukraine is once again negotiating its future with Western partners amid ongoing Russian aggression, as the decisions and compromises made in the 1990s continue to have a significant impact on its desire for lasting security.
Fair to move! Fair to move! Move!
Ask anyone who's ever served and they'll tell you, professional development is crucial to creating an environment for success. Each branch of the military spends millions on the continuing education of their soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and guardians. Even in times of conflict, training is a critical factor to winning any battle. which is why Ukraine is leaning on its partners in NATO to make sure its soldiers are ready to take the fight to their Russian adversaries. And that's why Operation Interflex is our weapon of the week.
From clearing trenches and providing cover fire to leadership opportunities, these Ukrainian soldiers are preparing for a fight that's nearly 2,000 miles away.
We have to do this so that the enemy doesn't go on to invade other countries and wreak havoc, as they are currently doing on our territory.
Leaning on the experience of NATO allies and partners, they are training for leadership roles on the front lines. Through the UK-led Operation Interflex, they are immersed in a 10-week platoon commander course. The focus is on teaching them the best tactics and strategies to take advantage of Russian weaknesses on the battlefield.
I'm with the training team running the platoon commanders battle course, so training Ukrainian junior officers, junior leaders. So they'll be mostly going back to Ukraine and running platoons of about 30 soldiers, mostly working in small teams from a variety of different cap badges, so infantry, artillery, logistics, all different kinds. We're mainly training them in sort of leadership and planning.
Operation Interflex is an extensive program of courses taking place across various undisclosed locations in the United Kingdom.
So our approach with our course is very much a two-way thing. We're trying to learn as much as we can from their experiences on the battlefield. And at the same time, what we're trying to teach them is not necessarily how you do an individual drill, how you conduct a specific attack. We're trying to teach them more processes, how to conduct planning, how to analyze a situation, and how to, apply your force to that particular problem.
Interflex started in response to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The course has trainers from NATO allies Albania, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Lithuania, Romania, Sweden, and the United Kingdom. Australia and New Zealand also are involved in Interflex as NATO partners.
We're not trying to tell them that, our way of doing things or our way of planning things is the only way. And we very much try and get as much of the answers from them as we can. But we very much see it as an exchange.
For the Ukrainians, the experience is about more than the fighting waiting for them back home.
The loss of my comrades in arms is not the only thing that drives me. I'm also motivated to keep my country free, to keep my children, my grandchildren, I have 4 of them, to keep them alive without war so that they never know what war is.
Times you go to ensure, okay, but you're aware of your surroundings at all times.
To date, nearly 60,000 Ukrainian soldiers have taken part in Operation Interflex since it began in July of 2022, a number that represents a point of pride for the troops leading the training.
So there's probably quite a sense of pride and a little bit of privilege to be part, albeit just a very little part of it, but a part of a huge operation, which is hopefully making a difference.
On Ukraine's Independence Day, August 24th, the UK announced Operation Interflex will continue until at least the end of 2026, reaffirming its commitment to strengthening Ukraine's defense.
Слава Україні!
All opinions expressed in this segment are solely the opinions of the contributors.
All right, folks, for my wrap this week, I want to spend just a few minutes talking about why it was important for us to come to Ukraine. First off, we were invited to cover the Defense Tech Valley 2025 Summit and Exposition. It's a very important event for Ukraine to showcase the technologies it's developing and teach other countries how to do the same while also attracting new investments. And with NATO spending limits up to 5% of GDP, coupled with Russia's recent drone incursions into Poland and Romania, there will be plenty of European decision makers in attendance at this event. Beyond the expo, though, we wanted to help share the stories and insights from this city. It's a place far from the front lines, but not immune from the war's impacts. Lviv is an extremely important place for Ukrainian soldiers looking to heal and reintegrate back into society after their time fighting Russia. It's also a place where people fleeing the war can go to find safety and comfort, and the strength to carry on despite Moscow's efforts to kill the hope and spirit of the Ukrainian people. So we are here to tell those stories. to provide more insights into what's happening in Ukraine after 3.5 years of war and share those lessons with you. And that's going to do it for us this week on Weapons and Warfare. As always, if you like what you saw and or heard, please like and subscribe to our social media feeds and download the Straight Arrow News app today. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be rolling out all the stories that we gathered here in Ukraine, so the best way to stay up to date on all of those is through the app. In the meantime, for senior producer Brad Baker, video editor Brian Spencer, motion artist Dakota Patillo, and photographer Sam Beatty, I'm Ryan Robertson, Straight Arrow News, signing off.